And then comes this: blessed are those who hunger and thirst for righteousness, for they will be filled. Matthew 5, verse 6. Jesus is not talking about a casual desire for things to be better. He is talking about a deep yearning like physical hunger and thirst. It's a call to action. It's not enough to wish for change. We must actively work for a more just world. But Jesus doesn't stop there. He says, blessed are the merciful, for they will be shown mercy. Matthew 5, verse 7. In a world that often cries out for revenge, that delights in seeing the mighty fall, Jesus invites us to choose compassion. Mercy is not just a feeling, it's an action. It's choosing to forgive when we have every right to hold a grudge. And here comes one of my favorites. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. Matthew 5, verse 8. This goes beyond external appearances. Jesus is talking about integrity, being the same person in public and in private. It's a call to authenticity in a world of masks and pretenses. Moving forward in the Sermon on the Mount, we come to one of Jesus' most challenging teachings. You have heard that it was said, eye for eye and tooth for tooth. But I tell you, do not resist an evil person. If anyone slaps you on the right cheek, turn to them the other cheek also. Matthew 5, verse 38-39. Wow, wait a minute. Is Jesus saying we should be weak and let people walk all over us? No, not at all. What Jesus is proposing here is nothing less than a revolution in human relationships. In that culture and ours, revenge was and is the norm. If someone wrongs you, it's expected that you will hit back. Eye for eye, tooth for tooth. But Jesus says, stop. There's a better way. Offering the other cheek doesn't mean being a doormat. It means refusing to retaliate. It means breaking the cycle of violence and revenge. It's a way of saying, your act of violence ends with me. I will not perpetuate it. But Jesus goes even further. He says, love your enemies, bless those who curse you, do good to those who hate you, and pray for those who mistreat you and persecute you. Matthew 5:44. This is perhaps the most radical command of all. It goes against every natural instinct we have. Love our enemies, bless those who curse us. Is Jesus serious? Yes, he is. And he explains why we should do this, so that you may be children of your Father in heaven. He causes his sun to rise on the evil and the good, and sends rain on the righteous and the unrighteous. Matthew 5:45. Now let's delve into another fascinating section of the Sermon on the Mount. Jesus addresses something we all do: judge others. He says, do not judge, or you too will be judged. Matthew 7:1. At first glance, this may seem like an invitation to have no moral standards, but that's not what Jesus is saying at all. He is warning against hypocritical and arrogant judgment. Jesus illustrates this with a vivid image. Why do you look at the speck of sawdust in your brother's eye and pay no attention to the plank in your own eye? Matthew 7:3. Imagine for a moment someone with a huge log sticking out of their eye, leaning in to pick a tiny speck out of someone else's eye. It's absurd, right? And that's exactly the point. Jesus is using humor to make a powerful point. It's not about never seeing others' faults. It's about starting by examining our own hearts first. It's about approaching others with humility and compassion, not with a superior moral attitude. Jesus continues with one of his most well-known teachings. So in everything, do to others what you would have them do to you, for this sums up the law and the prophets. Matthew 7:12. This is the famous golden rule, and it is revolutionary in its simplicity. It doesn't say, don't do to others what you don't want them to do to you, which is easier because it only requires us to refrain from harmful actions. Instead, it challenges us to take the initiative to do good. It's an invitation to active empathy, to put ourselves in the other person's shoes and ask, how would I like to be treated in this situation? And then act accordingly.